So this weekend, I was able to complete the Pixar set, which I was excited about. I wasn't planning on getting it, but it was a little bit cheaper than I thought. So picked up those pieces. I got the Ukraine disaster recovery poster, and I finished my Myrmicoma Season 2 set. I can't say that word, Myrmicoma. So this weekend, I was able to complete 3 sets. So now I am up to 23, which isn't a low number, but isn't a high number. We know a number of people that have 50, 100 sets completed, which is incredible. But it really made me think about the Master Collector Program, something that I kind of did a video about a number of months ago. And since then, they came out with kind of their version 1. But I just really have never been that impressed with it, mainly because I think my focus has always been on the raffle. So let me quick give an overview. I did go through and read the article again. I will link it below. I encourage you to read it too, but let's just go through it for a quick overview. Basically, the Master Collector Program, which is not out yet and probably won't be out for a couple of months. They'll be rolling it out. In my mind, it probably won't be out in its entirety, maybe even for a year, but they have 4 phases. It's documented in the article. But basically, you get a certain amount of points depending on collectibles and sets you have, and these sets add up and give you levels. And in the end, if you are in the top levels, you get special perks. So let's talk about some of those. You'll get a badge. They'll display your level. It said you might get an expanded ability to show things in your profile. You'll get free premium listings, perhaps, on the marketplace. There's something called expanded AR. I don't know what that means. Maybe you'll be able to do things that other people... Maybe you'll be able to do AR and have multiple collectibles in it. They will allow you to use your points to get raffle tickets that you'll be able to... actively, before a drop, go after a certain amount of collectibles they set aside. You'll be able to purchase accessories, exclusive content. There's something called level-based chat rooms. I'm not sure what that is. Maybe it's, you can talk, if you're level 10, you can talk to other level 10 people. I'm not sure what that is. Once you attain a certain thing, you would get free MCP Pro, and if you're in that program, you can pay for it, or if you have a certain level, you would get it for free, and that would be free drop raffle tickets per month, the ability to rent, the ability to burn collectibles. So really, it's an interesting program. Obviously, they have said that there'll be a lot of additional features that they haven't outlined yet. In my video I made about a month ago, you can watch, but basically I described how even if you had a lot of points, your points wouldn't really compare to some of these crazy whales or krakens. And what was interesting, because so many people are putting points in, and as the user base grows, even those particular people wouldn't have as good a shot as you might think at getting some of these collectibles. It was less than a 0.00001% chance, even for the Krakens. And of course, for normal people like you and I, it really was quite impossible to get some of these drops, almost like it is right now in the normal way. So I didn't think it was something to get super excited about in terms of like, oh, I'm going to buy all these sets and really, really push to be a master collector, because it would give me some sort of advantage in terms of, or real advantage in terms of getting some of the drops. I just didn't see that, and I documented that. I actually thought that was a good thing. But in giving it some more thought this weekend, I really think it's something that I'm going to try to look at more closely, and I will actually take the raffle aspect of it and put it over here. I think it's interesting. Obviously, if I have points, I'm going to be a part of those raffle systems, and if I win, I win. But as I said before, even in the drops, I don't think that can be part of your strategy because the percentages are just so low. Even if they were to change it up a little bit, and maybe you could get, for every 10 raffle tickets, you could, spend more points or do some sort of, it wouldn't matter. I think the numbers are so overwhelming that it's just going to be a low percentage, and you can't count on that. But so let's talk about some of these other pieces. So you might say, oh, well, if I'm really high, perhaps, I can get this free MCP program. But that's probably going to be $10 a month, $20 a month, something like that. So what's that, $120 a year. So if you've bought all these collectibles and sets that you didn't care about, you could have just spent the $120, as we know, and just been a part of that program. So it's probably not wise to buy things that you're not interested in. So just the carrot of being in the MCP Pro is really not enough for me to really start looking at perhaps collectibles that I might not and try and get my Master Collector level up. The ones that were interesting, I think, is the free premium listing. That could be useful, especially if you're trying to sell something. As we know right now, if you want to sell something, you're going to throw it on the floor. And if you have a relatively low mint number, that helps it sell faster. Obviously, if you have a really low number, you don't want to sell that at all, right? You want to sell that at a premium. But it's hard if you have a lower mint number and you want to sell it for more. Most people aren't going to see it. They have to search through. So if you could have one of these premium listings, that could be a huge advantage. In addition, if you mint number that was special, like 1962 for Spider-Man or something like that, then you could use a premium listing and get it right front and center of people. I think that's useful. The other piece is renting. So if you have to be a certain level or the pro in order to rent, and they've talked about renting, there's a lot of different people who have ideas on that. I think we have not yet seen the utility for that, but that doesn't mean that it's not going to be huge and very useful. So that's a piece of the puzzle that we definitely want to understand. And you most likely will want to be a part of that, especially if you have some valuable NFTs. Another thing that I looked at, even after I looked at all of the different Master Collector Program advantages, perks, whatever you want to call them, is that I believe that they're going to want to make it attractive. So if they roll it out and people are just not believing in it, they can continue to tweak it and add pieces and make it as incredible as they want so that people will want to be a part of it. And obviously that's a balance. If it's too incredible, then people will be going after things and kind of loses focus. It becomes more about this Master Collector Program, less about collecting things that we love. But I think that they will continue to tweak it to the point at which it's very attractive for people. So after I gave that some thought, that kind of brings me to one of the themes that I always talk about on this channel. And that is that you want to be prepared. You don't want to be scrambling. You want to be prepared. We talk about it, how you prepare for grail drops, etc. A lot of my videos talk about that. And so the more and more I thought about it, I do think, because they announced MCP V1, that article came out a couple months ago. And so the phase 1 is probably going to come out in the next month or two, because that would be 4 or 5 months of development, and it's going to be a frenzy. You don't want to look at that and say, oh no, now I'm going to go want to buy a bunch of cheap sets. Now, one of the websites that I've talked about before, and it's still an incredibly good website, is vvsetlist.com. Great one. Shows all the sets and the points and the, which ones are the cheapest ones. You can slice and dice it any way you want. I highly recommend that website. And so, like I'm saying right now, one of the cheapest ones was I'm going to have to say it again, Murmur. So once they announce when the MCP program is going to go live, you don't want to be scrambling to buy sets. That's why right now, and we are in this dip, I thought, I'm going to go out and try and grab some of these really cheap sets. They're still kind of expensive, but I think the MCP program is going to make them go up, so that makes them valuable in terms of from an investment perspective. But I think they might really get out of reach if a lot of people are interested in the MCP program. And of course, there is always generally one ultra rare or secret rare piece, and that particular NFT is going to be the one that's the most valuable. It's kind of the linchpin for it. So that one is really going to go up. So maybe you just go buy some of those, the rarest of each of these sets, right? That might be another strategy. But I am going to continue. Another one that a lot of people have been talking about is the ultra rare comics, because they provide 3 points, which is a lot. So some of those are expensive, but other ones are under $100. So that's another one to think about. So definitely, if you are interested in the MCP program, read that particular article again, look at the perks, but then understand that they could add additional features to that down the line. and you don't want to be scrambling. So where does that play in your strategy? I'm not sure, but for me, I've decided to buy a couple of the cheaper sets. We'll see where that leads me. I appreciate you guys watching. Take care.